Louisville's been rocked by gun violence, but how are investigators tracing guns to solve crimes?
WDRB Investigates reporter Valerie Chin traveled more than 500 miles to show us how crimes in our area and across the country are solved.
Going to be a shooting 29 in St. X.
We are seeing more violent crime.
We're on scene, advising shots fired, multiple subjects with gunshot wounds.
More than 95 homicides so far this year in Louisville.
I mean, it's no secret that there's been some record homicide highs in the past years in Louisville.
And more than 250 shootings where the victims survived.
Crime gun tracing provides investigative leads where sometimes there might not have been any. And those victims who are violent of gun crimes, they deserve that.
WDRB Investigates is seeing how guns are traced more than 500 miles from Louisville at the ATF National Tracing Center in Martinsburg, West Virginia. It's the U.S.'s only crime gun tracing facility. The goal here, to help provide investigative leads for federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies.
We're looking at inside the gun, from the ballistic evidence from NIBIN to outside the gun, to make the model tracing that, to get those investigative leads and to solve the crime, and not just solve that crime, but prevent another gun crime from occurring.
ATF says it receives about 1,800 firearms trace requests each day from law enforcement. Routine requests can take about 7 days, but some are deemed urgent.
And an urgent trace, our objective is to get those done within 24 hours. Oftentimes it's a matter of hours or minutes that we're completing those urgent traces.
The Old National Bank shooting is still on the minds of many people in Louisville. That gun was traced pretty quickly. Is that because it was traced here?
I can't talk about that investigation because it is an ongoing active investigation. I can tell you that generally we do what's called urgent trace requests for mass shootings, shooting of a police officer. Those are things of that nature.
ATF National Tracing Center, Jerry speaking.
If you think gun tracing is high tech, think again. Guns are traced with phone calls.
Single or multiple purchase.
And documents from gun shops that have gone out of business or no longer sell guns.
When we trace firearms, what we're doing is we're relying on the record keeping of federal firearms licensees.
There are boxes and boxes all over this tracing center. 6 to 8 million records come in each month, and 30,000 boxes of records are being processed right now.
From the outside looking in, it may seem like a lot of paper, and it certainly is. And the firearms industry just historically has kind of been this sort of old school operation where everything is captured in hard copy format.
Once processed and scanned, that information is used to create an index file to help trace the gun. Here's how it works. When a crime gun is recovered, the gun is identified and police request a trace on it.
We get calls from law enforcement all the time. They're like, hey, here's a serial number, can you look this up? Well, there's no such database, there's no national registry.
Tracers then track where the gun was manufactured to where it was sold and who purchased it. The trace results are then used as possible leads in gun investigations.
But it's going to give you a starting point, at least who purchased that firearm from that retail, from that FFL, the Federal Firearms Licensee.
ATF's latest data from 2017 to 2021 shows Louisville police asked the ATF to trace more than 15,000 guns used in crimes. Of those, nearly 12,000 were traced back to who purchased it. More than 9,400 of them came from Kentucky and nearly 1,100 from Indiana.
And police officers are really starting to see the benefits of tracing, what it does for their investigations, how it can help them solve cases. And so the past 2 years, in 2021 and 2022, we're around 7,000 firearm traces, crime gun traces. And this year we're on pace to be a little over 9,000.
The first step is reboxing everything.
So many boxes and documents and employees going through it all to get information that could help identify possible suspects.
It's interesting. It's a very kind of old school industry where the majority of everything is still handwritten.
With photojournalist Darius Bowie, Valerie Chin, WDRB News.